evening, everyone. Welcome to Stinchfield. I'm Grant Stinchfield, of course. I've been warning you about the catastrophe on the border for a long time now. Clearly, it poses a national security risk to all of us with the open border policies that Joe Biden and his cronies have instituted down there. But I saw a piece of video, which the only way to describe this video is chilling to the core. We know that hundreds of special interest aliens have come across our border. These are illegals from parts of the world that have ties, countries that have ties to terrorism. We know that hundreds of them have come, but very few of them have made veiled threats like this, if you can call it even veiled. Watch.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you would know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
The entitlement, guys. Wow.
You will see soon.
You're not smart enough to know who I am. Soon you will know who I am. So who is that man? We can't say for sure. There have been a lot of study into him on social media. Many people believe he is a man by the name of Samadov from Aberjadin, part of the Islamic Party there, a man that served 12 years in prison for all kinds of terror activities, for weapons trafficking, and he goes to prison. My friends at the Gateway Pundit say, no, that is not that man, that they had an expert that used artificial intelligence to see if it was, and that expert said, no, it's not. Really, in the end, that's Samadov you're looking at on your screen. And he gave a speech there during when that shot was taken, basically calling all non-believers for the heads to be cut off the beast. That is all of us. Now, is that the man that crossed the border? Again, we can't say for sure. AI intelligence, artificial intelligence from the Gateway Pundit says, no, it's not the man. But again, it doesn't really matter because it's what he says that matters. And even maybe more than that is, where is he? He's disappeared. I want to know what Border Patrol, what Homeland Security is doing to track that man down. I mean, just listen again to his threat and how arrogant he is about it.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you would know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
Soon you are going to know who I am. You know, the independent journalist who that possible terrorist was chastising says, look at the entitlement, I'm not sure it's entitlement. I think it's arrogance and a brazen bravado that leads me to believe he's capable of anything, that man. Certainly we know it only takes one to wreak havoc. Think about what happened, the Boston bombing, two brothers, the havoc they wreaked. Think about 9/11 and the 9/11 hijackers, a handful of them wreaked havoc on America. It doesn't take many, and as I mentioned, we've had hundreds come across our border. Governor Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, reacted to that very video you just saw.
I have asserted in court that there is an invasion going on in the United States of America, and that videotape typifies why there is such an invasion. That is a threat to the United States of America, what he said, but it's not a one-off threat. We see things like that happen every single day.
Now, is there any kind of urgency for the Department of Homeland Security to go find that man? You would hope so. Do they have him in custody? We don't know. No one's answering us as to who that man actually is. But President Trump last night, our own Ben Berkwam, who works the border so tirelessly, had asked President Trump a question about what's the greatest threat facing America. Now, you know I believe it's Joe Biden. But President Trump spelled it out this way, and the reason I play it for you is because he didn't know about this video. But again, 100% chance of a terror attack in the United States, according to President Trump. Listen.
And a lot of terrorists are coming in. This is really bad. I heard somebody yesterday say 100% happened to be Sean Hannity. Did you ever hear of Sean Hannity? He said 100% certain that there'll be some horrible acts, terror acts, and that's the answer. It's 100%. It's 100%. The people coming into our country, it's 100% certain.
All right, so I always say this, especially when it comes to terror attacks, when it comes to school shootings, the chance of you being a victim of one of these things is most likely slim to none. But the chance, as President Trump said, of it happening in America is 100%. You would hate to be the one who's slim chance, and it comes calling when a terrorist detonates a suicide bomb on your corner. Well, I want to welcome in now my panel to talk about this. Retired Navy SEAL officer and recon Marine who served multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan fighting terrorists. He's also the best-selling author of The Everyday Warrior and CEO of TalentWarGroup.com. Mike Sorelli is here, and former FBI Special Agent John Guandolo is here. He spent a whole career investigating Islamic terror crimes as well. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Agent Guandolo, let me start with you. Your reaction to this video.
Well, I think one of the things that's really important to keep in mind is the terrorists coming into the United States come into a massive jihadi network that exists here in all 50 states. We've documented that. I did it both in the FBI, DOD, and in the private sector. There is a massive jihadi network here in the United States, and those attacks that you just named, the 9/11 attacks, Boston, and all the other jihadi attacks that have happened prior to and since 9/11, including 9/11, had direct support from an identifiable network here in the United States, and it's made up of thousands of organizations. So I think that's point one, the fact that not just the southern border, but the entire security apparatus in the United States has no ability to vet. We have people inside that have worked in the last 10 years inside the DOJ, inside the White House, inside the national security staffs, inside FBI, CIA, who are Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah, Hamas, ISIS, people that Department of State have trained that we know are ISIS commanders, and they claim they've been vetted. So it's the entire system is broken. We have no functioning counterintelligence apparatus inside the U.S. government. It's a complete, it's a disaster. And I agree. The intelligence we have that I have based on my organization's intelligence that we've been running for years is that the Islamic movement here is very confident that they're going to win the whole thing because of their penetration inside the system.
Certainly it seems like, and I'll get back to this question with you about the FBI and what they're really focused on. Mike, you're a Navy SEAL. You look these guys in the eye on a daily basis. Let me play this clip, and I want to ask you about the personality and the arrogance of this guy and how that relates to other terrorists you've seen. Let's roll that clip one more time.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're going to know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
Mike, what do you make of that? It seems to me an awful lot of bravado for a guy who just, I don't say sneak into America because they literally just turn themselves in now, but what do you make of that?
Well, I think that is a slap in the face to all Americans who are concerned about the border. It is a detriment or also a slight to troops who served over there to protect our nation. This really does highlight the problem with the border. If somebody tries to break into your house, what do? You call the police, you defend your property. The border's no different. The United States is our property. It's our sovereign property, and nobody is anti-immigration. Most Americans are pro-immigration through proper channels and legal means. But if we don't address this problem, I mean, we intercept.
Yeah, so I know the border's a problem. I know the border's a problem. You face these guys. I want to know if that guy sounds like somebody you saw in Erbil. That's what I want to know. I want to know that guy's mentality. What is he capable of?
Well, these people are filled with ideology, and they have one goal, is to kill Americans, destroy the West. And as you see with Hamas, their purpose in being is to kill all Jews. So this is a threat to our sovereignty. And John was right. The intelligence apparatus is broken. We don't want to make the job harder on our intel specialists, our intel officers. The point is to support them with strategy that makes their job easier, because they're basically trying to find a needle in the haystack with terrorist networks sending operatives like this into our nation.
All right. So, John, that brings me back to something you said, and Mike, what you're pointing out as well. The intelligence apparatus is totally broken down. I look at FBI agents chasing Catholics around as domestic terrorists, school board parents, anybody that wears a Make America Great Again t-shirt now or buys a Bible, apparently, is a potential terrorist. Is this breaking down to the point where that's going to really compromise their ability to go after the real terrorists in America?
Yes, and I think it has for several years. I think it's important to clarify. Mr. Biden and the Attorney General and the DHS Secretary have all identified what they call MAGA white supremacists as the greatest threat to the nation. These are patriots, primarily Christian patriots, who are trying to defend the country, and they are using all the power of the federal government to come after those folks. And at the same time, honestly, since 9/11, because I worked these cases, we had no understanding by our leadership of the doctrine that unites Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and all the Qatar and all the other jihadi nations and organizations, and which is Sharia, which is what they seek to impose, and what Mike said, and taking over the West. So yes, this is a complete use of the federal system to target not jihadis and communists, their collaborators and financiers who are taking down the United States, but patriots.
So, Mike, what do we do to stop this guy and others like them here in the United States? They walk among us. They hide in the shadows. They're not out. They don't have a big badge on their shoulder that says, hey, I'm a jihadist. Look at me. What do we do to stop them?
Honestly, Grant, it's elect people that understand that this is an existential threat to us and all Americans. This comes down to, and what John's alluding to is, God bless our intel community and our Justice Department, the people that are doing good work and focusing on the real threats to Americans. But we lack a regional strategy with this administration. We lack an international strategy with this administration. And the war on terror did not end when we pulled out of Kabul. This war will be ongoing. These people live, again, as John said, to destroy the West and to kill all Americans and Jews.
Well, it most certainly is generational, which is why I tell all my conservative friends, you may not want endless wars, but the war against jihad will be an endless war because it is generational for them. They raise their children to do this. And of course, America is the great Satan, as they call us. They're coming for us. Mike Sorelli, thank you so much for your service to this country. We appreciate it. And John Guandolo as well. Thank you, both of you, for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. So, Mike talked a little bit in the beginning about how do you prevent all this? Well, a sealed border would most certainly prevent this from happening. We don't have a sealed border. We have a sieve. I've called it a catastrophe because that's exactly what it is. J.J. Carroll is, of course, one of our resident experts here. He's a former Border Patrol agent. He's author of the book Invaded. And I want to welcome J.J. Carroll back to the program because J.J. and I were talking about this very case of this guy comes across taunting those independent journalists, chastising them, saying, you will know me soon. JJ, welcome to the program. This typifies the problem you've been calling out for so long now.
Well, thanks for having me. And you said something great in your opening monologue, and it's spot on. It doesn't really matter if he is the Azerbaijan Islamic leader or not. He is symbolic of what is coming across our border. Just raw data. In the 3 years Biden has been in office, over 130 to 140,000 special interest aliens have been arrested and released. Ironically, or sadly, on the special interest list is China and Russia are not on that list. And we've arrested almost 300,000 Chinese and Russian nationals. So right now we're sitting at a real number of special interest aliens being arrested and then released, over 500,000. And I'm telling you, Grant, absolute certainty that that number is in the millions because of our open border. There's 80% of the border is unmanned at any given time, meaning there's not a single Border Patrol agent.
I asked you this before, but the answer was so stunning, I'm going to ask it again. Special interest alien, of course, is illegals that come from terror-born countries, countries that have a big problem with terrorism. Those are special interest aliens that are crossing our border. You worked, tell me, how many years on Border Patrol, and how many of those did you come across compared to today?
I was in the Border Patrol for 24 years as a journeyman agent and manager, and then as a senior leader. I had easily over 10,000 arrests in my career, directly or indirectly. I arrested less than 5 that I can remember, 5 special interest aliens. In all of my career in 24 years, we never released even 1 special interest alien. I would have been fired, terminated, lose my pension, everything if I ever would have released a special interest alien onto the streets of America. And now, in 3 years of the 100 years of the United States Border Patrol history, in those 3 years, we release every single special interest alien. America
JJ,
needs to, yes.
Where is this guy? Do we know? Have you talked to anybody inside Border Patrol? Are they looking for this guy? Is there any indication of where he is or where he's going?
Well, I've called around and asked people that I know that are down on the border and inside DHS, and they have no idea. And if I know that they don't have them, I know they released them because they would have come out and said, no, everyone on the internet that is doing the search, you're wrong. This is this guy, we have him in custody, and he's either been released or we're deporting him back to his home country. Radio silence, that tells you everything you need to know. Silence many times is more profound than words.
Do you think there's anybody looking for him?
No. And let's say, okay, let's play the game that they are looking for him, just because it's a PR nightmare, right? It's spinning out of control. Again, Grant, just what you said. This is just one person. I'm telling you, hundreds of thousands of those men have crossed into the United States of America or have crossed through the open borders. This is a catastrophe. 30% of all arrests are Mexican. 70% and more are other than Mexican. The vast majority of the people being arrested are from the nations, the continent of Africa and the Middle East. Wake up, America. It's coming. And President Trump is 100% right. 100% this is going to happen. And the closer we get to the 2024 election, presidential election, the higher the probability of an attack gets. I want to be wrong, Grant. I want to be wrong, but the data does not lie. I lived this for 24 years. I know exactly what's happening, and I understand the traitors in Biden and Mayorkas and that administration. They have set America up for failure. We're the most vulnerable we have ever been in the history of America.
JJ, the sad reality is I don't think you're wrong, and that's what's the most frightening of all. It could all be stopped, and then we'll deal with the people that are here, but we have to shut this down right away. The book's called Invaded. JJ Carroll, I appreciate you coming on the program, as always.
Thank you, Grant.
All right, absolutely. Folks, I want you to know, did you see the passion in JJ's eyes, words? This is the same passion I get from all of my friends who are retired Border Patrol, whether they were high-level leadership or whether they were Border Patrol agents. They are frustrated, and quite frankly, they are nervous. They don't sleep at night because of what they fear is happening to this country on the watch of Joe Biden and Secretary Mayorkas, who does, by the way, need to be impeached. All right, all of this craziness is one reason why you need to be putting some money into gold. Lord knows what happens. We get a terrorist attack, stock market's going to drop, all kinds of international problems. Gold is a safe haven at times like these. So I would urge you to do what I'm doing, put some of your money into gold. How much? I would urge you to talk to my friends over at Birch Gold about it. How do you get in touch with my friends at Birch Gold? Just do this. Text America to the number 989898. That's America to the number 989898, and Birch Gold can help you. It's about safety, security, privacy, and holding on to that money that you work so hard for. Gold can help you. Again, Birch Gold can help. America to the number 989898. All right. I'll break down all the fallout from New Hampshire as well as get into this Kari Lake situation where the GOP party chair was offering Kari Lake money to get out of the Arizona Senate race. He's caught on tape doing this.